Slow mothering. What is that? As a mother, do you feel discombobulated, rush, hurried, cannot catch a breath, always things happening without you fully comprehending what comes next? That is not slow mothering. That is the mode of what I have termed to be the chief doer. You know, you are doing everything. You are the chief doer. You are the one who fixes, plans, execute everything. And all of the other videos that I've talked about and explained, and encourage you to check out the link in the description for the workbook to give you a kind of roadmap to identify where you are in your season, is to help you get to a place of slow mothering. If you're new to the channel, I'm Kerresha Angus. I am a social worker, and this channel is Integrated Life with Kerresha, trying to mesh life with your professional and your personal, your friend, all together without it being discombobulated. So slow mothering is what I would like to term as the space between not being able to catch your breath and being able to pause. Like do a holy pause, assess and see. So as a mother, I can tell you in the early days before I implemented most of what I've been talking to you about, it was where I was running around doing a lot of things, being very productive, being a bit exhausted, even though, I had young children. That was a part of the process, I thought. But the implementation, the execution was overwhelming. It wasn't strategic. It wasn't intentional about point A to point B. And therefore, I was the chief doer. I was doing all the things. I was making sure the bags are packed, the house is clean, and all that. I was very reactive. Something happens, I am reacting. There was no plan, no preparation, no forethought, because I was just getting things done. Until a moment where I realized if I continue, I'm just going to always be doing. And I can't necessarily say that it was a conscious shift to say, I recognize, and then I went into implementation. It was more of a progression to where I started to design how I wanted my days to look. I became the architect, the designer of my life. And I went from the chief doer to the architect. And it's when you start to design your life. When I started to design my life, how I wanted to show up and be, and what time I gave to any one thing, then I started to experience slow mothering. Slow mothering is the end goal, if you want to say, the cherry on top of designing a well thought out life when it comes to rearing children, household. Slow mothering is that point of where you're wanting to be. It is not a stop, it is more of a continuation, and then when you get there, you move from there. The movement from slow mothering is more of a deliberate execution of your time management, your peace, your joy. You can experience chaotic joy and peace when you're doing. You can. There are moments, but it is not sustainable. It's not a thing where you say, yeah, that was very delicious, and you stay there. it's a visiting. I'm visiting joy, I'm visiting peace, I'm visiting intention, and then I go back to chaos and the hamster wheel. So what I want you to do is to reflect back on what I encourage you to do, was take inventory, see where you were, what season you are in. Because it is not to say that you're trying to get to slow mothering by slowing down. It has nothing to do with moving slowly. Because the truth be told, I do more now than I did 5 years ago. But the rhythm to which I do it is very slow. It is intentional. It is deliberate. It is not that I am moving slow. It's actually I am moving faster. But because I have a system in place, the system of pause and taking an audit of how the week look, all of what we spoke about in the previous videos. So if you are jumping in during this video, look in the other videos. You'll see what I'm referring to. Check out the link in the description in regards to the integrated workbook, and you will be able to go through the different sections to see where slow mothering is. Slow mothering is where you want to be operating from, not a place of visitation, but a place of dwelling. Because until you recognize that when you have white space, when you have a breathing room, you then have a leeway, an avenue to get to where you are wanting to be. You are able to be deliberate in your actions. You are able to be present with your children, like for real present. Not that the next thing to do is on the back of your mind, because you are already accounted for the next thing, because you did your inventory, you set your week, you know that this is going to be done at this time. Is it calculating? Yes. And any good chief executive officer, business person, will tell you you need to be quite meticulous and calculating in regards to having seamless execution, seamless endpoint. You have the goal in mind and you have the road to get there. So slow mothering is you sitting on the floor playing with your kids, and that's where you are. Being able to be present is a benefit, a byproduct of slow mothering. Because when you have the opportunity to engage fully in the present moment with your kids and your husband or your friend, without having the constant dialogue going on in the back of your head, because your to-do list is just that, to do. It is not a structured approach to where you say, okay, I have an allotted time I've given to do gym, to do the grocery shopping. I know this person will assist with this, because you have your village in place. All the different structures assist you with the slow mothering. Your community is a part of the bridge to get you to slow mothering, to get you from the chief doer to the architect, because the architect, the one who is constructing and designing this house you're living in, is the one who is putting the people in place to assist with the things that allow you to do what you need to do. It's your responsibility, and you have the capacity without feeling overwhelmed. And that lends itself to being able to slow down in your thinking, in the busyness of life, to enjoy the moment with your kids, with your husband, with your friends, your mother, with the dog, right? Because you have identified who your village people are, and they are tasked with specific things, and that allows you to be able to slow down. And being able to review your week allows you to map out and see what comes next. So when you are on the floor, you go to the recital, that's what the whole thing was all about. Being able to give you the space to be present. Because mothering is not just about the bottles, the wipes, the diaper, the doctor's appointment. It's being able to see the children you are mothering and enjoy them. You will have ups and downs. The fever will be high. The clothes will be forever piling up because I do a lot of laundry and my kids are big. I just don't like to see baskets filled. So from they were small, I wash maybe every other day. Just because, well, I was Jamaican. Growing up in a system where my grandmother would wash the clothes and hang them on the line. I have no excuse. I have a washing machine. I put them in, I press start, and I take them out and they're dry. So I do that only because that is my practice. So slow mothering for you may look different. I use my slow mothering time because it is allotted. I know I go to the gym. I sit in this boudoir. I'll read my book. I listen to my podcast. I walk on the treadmill. I do things for me also, not just for the kids. Or took my kids to the skating because I didn't have anything on the agenda except, okay, they want to go skating, I'm going to take them. Because I have had structures in place to allow for that. So the end goal, I can say, is slow mothering, because that is where you will do your best work, your best harnessing of your power is when you're able to slow down and do. I am currently in the process of writing a book in terms of all of what I'm sharing. My hospice experience, my home health experience, my interaction with people over the past 21 years of being a social worker. And it is about the integrated life and how you get through. Sharing my own stories and giving you a blueprint to get in there. The start is we're having the dialogue. I'm sharing my views. I'm sharing what works for me. And the hope is that it may work for you if you apply it. It may not show up the same way, but it will still be delicious. And you have to be consistent. Small habits, consistency is key to any success. And what I would encourage you to do is to click the link in the description and look at the workbook. Get to just know yourself as a mother. Reflect. Maybe you have never taken the time to reflect on how chaotic things are and how does that make you feel. And how would slow mothering to you? Because I have my definition of slow mothering. And you may have your own, how it would show up for you. Slow mothering for you may look different. It may be able to say, you may be able to say that if I had someone to look after my kids, then I could go look for my grandmother in South Carolina. Or I could take that road trip to Tennessee. Or I could just go to, I have a friend who loves to go to the theater. Just go to the theater. By yourself or with the children, right? Or with your husband. Because there isn't a lot of things waiting for you that is just looming. And because it is just looming, you feel the need to hurry up and get back to whatever. Get back to work, get back to the room, get back to the house, whatever it is. So I am encouraging you to check out the workbook, But even if you don't, on a piece of paper, in a book, write down what slow mothering, how would it look for you if you were in the season of slow mothering? Because there's a season of chaotic mothering, there's a season of overwhelmed, there's a season for all of that. But there is a moment when, whether or not the child is 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 years, 20, you have to make the shift to where you are present, not because you're breastfeeding and you're feeding, but you're present because this is the only thing that I have to do right now. And I encourage you to like and share, subscribe, comment on what and how slow mothering looks for you, and whether or not you think it is even possible for you. Because the idea is that unless you fully understand, and I'll go into more in the next video about what the doer role versus the architect, how does that look? Not in a way where it is clinical or whatever, because you may not have language to what you're doing or what it looks like for you in the house, or put a word to it, because you're doing it. This is what you do. So come back again and join me, make your comments so we can grow. So this is my experience. You may have something else and that may work for you. So let's share the journey. Until next time, I am Kerresha, and this is the Integrated Life, and join me again. Thank you.